Finding your purpose. I hear guys complaining about this all the time, that they cannot find their purpose. They don't know what to do with their life. They have no direction. They have no mission, and they are struggling with what to do with their overall life. They don't have a purpose, okay? And in this video today, I want to break down to you guys what purpose is, the misconceptions behind it, and different ways that you can actually find your purpose, and some things that you can do, actionable steps to help you find your purpose. But the first thing to understand is that purpose is like an onion, okay? It has multiple layers. It's not just one specific thing that you find right away when you're 16 and then you do that for the rest of your life. It doesn't really work that way. Purpose has multiple layers, and there's multiple things that you continue to peel back. You might be in a situation right now that is leading you to your main purpose or main core or main mission or direction in life, okay? So that is kind of how it operates. It's not one specific thing, but it's a layering of things that eventually gets you into a more specific thing that is designed to be at your inner core, okay? And a lot of people, they just think, oh, my job is my purpose, working out is my purpose, but really, there are bigger things out there for you than just those things, okay? And I'm gonna break down how to find that thing, what to do, what you can do today. And a great example for you guys is that when I was in college, I was DJing, I was making music, and I really thought that was my purpose in life. I had a lot of fun doing it in college, but a lot of the time I was just drunk. And when I thought about it, I wasn't really helping people. But that led me to move to Austin, Texas, where I figured out I really liked fitness, I liked working out, and I liked teaching people and helping people in that way. And it gave me more of a sense of purpose. And now I'm making this video for you guys to help you get to that point as well, okay? So these are some things that I did to help me figure out what it is that I really want to do in life. So the very first thing to understand that today, there are so many distractions and life is just so loud. That is the very first thing, is that life is too loud, and I don't mean in the sense of volume. I mean in the sense of distractions, of different things that are just always thrown in your face, okay? So life is too loud and you can't hear the voice of God, right? Life is too loud and you can't hear God's voice. That is the main issue with so many people's lives today, is that they're always on their phone, they're always watching TV, they're always out drinking, they're always doing something, there's always something to do, right? They never just sit alone in the discomfort, in the quiet, in the solitude that they need to actually figure out what their true purpose is, what their true mission is, and what their true direction is in life. So the issue is that you guys can't hear God's voice. That is the problem. And it's not that I'm like a super religious person, right? But when I moved to Austin and I wanted to figure out, DJing really wasn't the thing anymore and music wasn't the thing anymore. I needed to figure out what my purpose was, what I should be doing with my time. And so the first thing I did was I took a step back from all the social media, all the YouTube, all the TV, going out, drinking, partying, scrolling, all of that stuff. I took a step back, and what it allowed me to do was just sit down and think with my thoughts and with that uncomfortability and be in the solitude. And different ideas started popping up, different things started popping up, and it eventually led me to this point today. Okay, so that is what you guys need to focus on, is seeing the ways in which your life is just too loud. Not in terms of volume, but in terms of distractions, of different things that are just always thrown in your face, and there's like nothing you can do about it, right? So one of the best things that you can do to lower the noise, to quiet the noise, is a dopamine detox, okay? And this is going to be one of the best things you can do, because people's dopamine receptors today are fried. And this is what I mean by austerity. If you've never heard this term, I got it from the book, The Way of the Superior Man, and it is one of the ways you can find your purpose, right? Because what you are doing through austerity, which is extreme plainness, and basically no TV, no sex, no reading, no newspapers, no nothing, no entertainment. You just have to sit in the silence, sit in the discomfort, not working too many hours at your job. All of these things are technically distractions from you finding your purpose. And austerity, extreme plainness, and simplicity is going to help you sit in that discomfort, help you find that solitude, have you actually think and strategize and figure out what you want to do with your life. You need to spend a little bit amount of time. Yes, action is very important, and action is going to get you to where you ultimately want to go. But first you need a direction. You need to pick a direction, and then you set sail. You don't just go set sail and have no idea where the fuck you're going. You need a direction. So this is what is going to help you get to that direction. When you're trying to pick a way to go to wherever it is, right? If you're trying to pick a destination, you think about the pros and cons. What is that destination going to get you? How you get there, all of that different type of stuff. You don't just start driving. You need a place to go. Okay, so figure out the place to go, and you do that through austerity. And one ways in the modern day to do austerity is through a dopamine detox, okay? So what this would mean is no YouTube, no porn, no sex, no nothing, right? All of these things, no social media, like you just need to be by yourself and sit alone in your uncomfortability and have some solitude in your life so you can hear the voice of God and you can start to figure out what direction you actually want to go in your life. You won't get into a car and start driving with nowhere to go, with no final destination. Think about what you want that final destination to be, okay? And then you have to pick a door to walk through, okay? So austerity will help you figure out where you ultimately want to go, but a good way to do that is through a dopamine detox. No social media, and I would recommend 14 to 30 days of this, okay? Because a lot of you guys, and people just in general nowadays, have no attention span. People are addicted to their phones. I even felt this yesterday when I was eating dinner. I wanted to look at my phone. I had this urge to pick up my phone, right? Even though like I'm not addicted to social media or YouTube or whatever it is, but I had this urge of wanting to just have something, right? And so you have to fight that and you have to sit in that uncomfortability because that is where you are going to find your true purpose. That is where you're going to hear the voice of God. And that is what is going to allow you to have that direction and then set sail towards that direction, okay? So that is what you need to focus on for number 2, is lessening the noise so you can hear God's voice and so you can start to think and strategize and figure out what destination you want in your life. Not what your mom wants, not what your dad wants, not what your sister, not what your brother, not what your coworker, not what your friends want. What do you want? You have to ask yourself that. And if you've never sat in the silence and asked yourself that, you are missing out and you are not going to find your purpose until you do so. And you have to put away the distractions first off so you have that ability to breathe, to think, and to strategize and to actually pick a direction, and then you set sail to find that direction. So we talked about the dopamine detox. We touched on how life is too loud for you to hear the voice of God. And it's not even about God, but it's about whatever deity that you believe in. The universe, your creator, whatever it is, right? Your life is too loud and there's too many distractions for you to hear that person, for you to figure out what direction and where to go in life. And the very third thing, which might really help you guys, is that there's a scene in the movie The Matrix, okay? If you have not watched this movie, I highly recommend, if you are a man, to watch this movie. And in this movie, Neo, he is the one, right? But the Oracle says he is not the one. But as you go throughout the movie, he starts doing all the actions, all the things, and it's becoming obvious that he is the one. And Morpheus tells him, Neo, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. And that is the third point that I'm going to bring up for you guys today. Knowing the path and walking the path are two different things, okay? And the reason why I wanted to put this one third is because I could tell you all the things. I could show you to sit in silence, how to do that. I can do all of these different things for you and I could give you all of the information. But at the end of the day, you have to be the one to do the work. You have to be the one to cut out the distractions. You have to be the one to sit in the silence. Knowing the path, watching this video, it's great, but it doesn't matter unless you apply it, right? If you're gonna watch a video, watch a piece of content, and your behavior hasn't changed at all, you just wasted your time, okay? So, knowing the path and walking the path are two different things, okay? And what you should start doing in order to walk the path is you should try out a bunch of different things, okay? Right? When I moved to Austin, I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? Two different things, you know that. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what directions I wanted to take in my life. And so I just needed to try different things. You just have to try different things. Try reading, try writing, try art, try making content, making YouTube. Figure out what you like to do and try to monetize it in some type of way, right? Try different things, anything, MMA, basketball, so try sports, whatever, right? You never know who you might meet, who you might talk to that can open the door for you, or can even give you a piece of knowledge or information to build a business or to do X, Y, C, or D, okay? You really never know, but if you're always just gonna be inside looking up how to find my purpose, watching YouTube videos, you're not gonna find it, right? Whatever you chase runs away from you. So what you need to start doing is living your life, going outside, talking to people, socializing, trying different activities, trying different things, because you never know who you might meet and what door and opportunity might just open up for you from you trying something, from you meeting something. You never know, okay? And so when I was moving here, what I started to do was I just started going to the gym, I started to get disciplined, and I started to figure out, hey, I actually kind of like this lifestyle of being simple, being locked in, being focused on the gym. And then I was talking to people and they were talking about, creating content and doing this different type of thing. It's really big in Austin. And so I started trying that, and then I started YouTube, and now I really enjoy talking to people on YouTube and on camera and teaching them my journey and the things that I've learned and what you can do to overstep some of the mistakes that I made and all of these different things. And it's led me to this point today to where I'm teaching you guys this, because I feel like this is my true purpose right now for me in my life. And so if you want to do the same thing, then just learn from me, and there you go, okay? So knowing and walking the path are two different things. You have to try different things. You have to just live life. You have to figure something out. Being on your phone, watching YouTube, watching Netflix, watching other people, not actually being out inside the real world. You have to be in the real world, talking to real people. Approach a girl. Do something, right? You have to do something. You have to try different things. Sitting on your ass, on your phone, on Netflix is not going to do anything. And you can get all the information from doing that. You can get all of it. But knowing and walking the path are two different things. So what choice are you going to make? Are you going to actually live your life? Are you going to do this, or are you just going to sit on your ass, get more cope, get more information, and not actually try something that can end up changing your life? Now that we broke down the parameters of purpose, what it is, what the misconceptions are about it, I want to give you guys some actionable items and actionable steps for you to implement into your life right away, so you can start to figure out what it is that you want out of life and what the final destination, the direction that you ultimately want to go in is, okay? And it's going to be in alignment with the things we talked about today. But these are just some things that I've done every single day throughout my life, right? And I've always had, some type of purpose, some type of thing going on in my life that has helped me feel truly fulfilled and have friends and have a social circle, right? I started out playing basketball, playing sports. I played basketball my whole life. And then I got into DJing and making music. And then I got into weightlifting and making content. And now I'm making YouTube videos for you guys, right? So these practices that I've done throughout my pretty much entire adult life has helped me figure out and be able to listen to the voice of God. And the very first thing is that meditate for 10 minutes a day, but not only meditate for 10 minutes a day, but just sit in complete silence for 10 minutes a day, right? You're not moving, you're not shuffling around, you're not walking, you're not on your phone, you're not watching YouTube, you're not watching Netflix. You are just sitting in complete silence, right? And you can meditate, you can focus on your breath, you can do a multitude of different things. Meditating is a great way, and that's what I do every single day. So if you want a simplistic way to do it, just do that. And you could do box breathing, which is basically 4 in, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, inhale, and it's just a circle like that. But meditating for 10 minutes a day is just one of the best things you can do to actually give yourself time to think. Give yourself time in our busy lives and our distracted lives and all the things that are going on. You have things all the time flowing in your face from work, from outside of work, from social, to if you have kids, whatever it is, right? You always feel like there's something to do. But meditating for 10 minutes a day, just sitting in silence, it could be praying, whatever it is. No phone, no distractions, no nothing, is one of the best ways you can actually hear the voice of God. Hear yourself think. Hear what kind of thoughts are going through your mind, what kind of actions, reactions. All of these different type of things are important to monitor yourself, to see what kind of person you are, but also to see what kind of direction you want to set out in life, what your mind cares about, and what BS it's always thinking about that doesn't matter, that is wasting your time and wasting your energy. Okay, so meditating for 10 minutes a day, something that I've done for years and years and years upon end, and I highly recommend this practice to you guys, because you just have some silence, you have some peace for 10 minutes a day. A lot of people, they don't even have that, right? So you have to cultivate it. You have to figure out a time that works and then do it every single day. It's one of the best things you can do to hear the voice of God. Okay? The next thing that I did, and this doesn't need to be a daily practice, but I would recommend you do this a couple times a week, and that is to walk in nature without your phone, right? Just to walk in nature, no phone, no book, no nothing. Walk in nature without anything, just you and some clothes. Walk in nature without anything, just you and some clothes, okay? And the reason why you want to do this is because whenever I did this, I feel like I could relax a lot more. I felt like my cortisol was lowering, I felt like my stress was lowering, and I felt like I was getting more connected to the world around me and to nature and to the universe, which allows you to figure out what it is, the direction you want to go, what kind of mission you want to have, where your final destination wants to be. If you are not in alignment with the universe and with the plan that God has for you, then you're always going to be walking around like a chicken with its head cut off. You don't know where you're going. You don't have a direction. You just got into the car and you just started driving with no direction, right? And sometimes that's cool to do just for you to think and do different things, but you need to have a direction 95% of the time in life, okay? And so getting outside, walking in nature, connecting with the universe, and aligning yourself with God's higher purpose, with the Creator's higher purpose, with your whatever deity you believe in, their higher purpose for you. When you get outside and when you get into nature, when you don't have a phone at all, no electronic, no device, just you with your clothes on, going for a walk in nature, one of the best ways to just connect with the universe, connect with the world, figure out what it is you want to do with your life, figure out what your purpose is, figure out the direction you want to set in. All of these things, it forces you to be uncomfortable and forces you to be in the world, be in the real world. That is what a lot of people are missing today, right? Whenever I go on my walks outside, people, they walk past me and they're just on their phone like this. They are so enthralled with everything that is going on in the fake world, right? Instead of enthralled with the real world. So enthrall yourself into the real world. Walk in nature without any devices, without anything. Connect yourself with the universe. Connect yourself with your higher purpose just for 15 or 20 minutes, right? Do it a couple times a week and you'll start to notice your thinking gets sharper, you have less brain fog, and you can also figure out what kind of direction you want to set in life. And you get better at sitting with that uncomfortability without having that vice you always need to turn to and always need to hold in your hand all the time. Okay, so these are two things that I've always done throughout my entire life to really center me with the universe, to really be able to hear the voice of God and to be able to figure out what direction I want to go in, okay? So, highly recommend you guys take these actionable steps and do these every single day. If you are struggling to find your purpose, you have to lower the volume and so you can hear God's voice, and these are two great ways to do it. Remember, solitude and austerity are the two ways you can really figure out your purpose, because you are able to hear the voice of God and you can do some thinking and some strategizing and figure out that direction you want to go in. So the dopamine detox, highly recommend you guys to do that. And if you need some help on this journey with figuring out what you want to do, what your purpose is, click the link in the bio, book a call with me, and we can have a one-on-one talk about where you want to go, what you want to do. It is your man, Tyler James. Without further ado, I will see you guys on the next one.